The episode's credits credit Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
All right, I guess at some point, Coy, John, and I were talking to each other, looking, and then the name came on screen, and then we spent the whole credits discussing how his name didn't come on screen.
Really showed up twice.
Many of you guys went way out of your way to tell us in the comments, and then also to hit me up on social media. Some of you tracked down my home, knocked on my door. What do you guys?
Guys, keep it down out there.
We already know.
We get it.
Thank you. There was no need to set my car on fire and then put in fireworks like Batman that Vincent D'Onofrio's name is in the credits.
Was here.
Well, hello there, Reject Nation. We're here today to show off our epic hero shot.
Hey, swag, am I right?
Hawkeye Episode 5, Breakdown and Easter Eggs from NR today.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of Hawkeye Episode 5, Ronin, which confirms Kingpin as the MCU's Mr. Grinch, whose heart only grows 3 sizes when he needs a rush of blood to throw a trust-a-bro truck at you.
Nice work.
Details hidden throughout this episode
Eric
with
Voss,
Yelena
I
Belova's
missed you.
fascinating backstory. So let us break it all down scene by scene for everything that you might have missed. The episode opens with some familiar audio, all moments from the Black Widow film. The opening sound effect was the same sound of the moment the antidote spray hit Yelena and woke her up from her programming. Then Yelena explaining what an antidote is to Natasha.
It's a synthetic gas. It's a synthetic gas. The counteragent to chemical subjugation. Это антидот контролю остановки.
Then Natasha at the end of the movie handing Yelena that list of widows and the antidote.
He had widows implanted all over the world. You should be the one to tell him it's over. He had widows implanted all over the world. Yelena will need to copy the formula, but you should be the one to tell him it's over.
And then this whistle. This was how the sisters signal each other throughout the movie.
That's the sound we make when a new Rockstars video is out.
Huh? Kind of reaction.
But this precise whistle audio was actually Yelena at Natasha's grave in the post-credit scene. Now, this opening scene of Hawkeye Episode 5 is set in 2018, so that makes Yelena's final whistle here come in from a future moment after Natasha's death. So all of this is echoing through time. As Kang explained, time is happening all at once. Flat circle, yada yada yada. Now the mountain landscape is so gross looking that the opening shot almost looks monochromatic, like a black and white throwback to an older era, but also a hint to the monochromatic dust that Yelena will soon transform in and out of. This mountain range also kind of looks like Sokovia. Age of Ultron did use the real-life Aosta Valley in the Italian Alps. Their target, Anna, could have profited from the chaos in that region following the Avengers battle there. Yelena is back in her white tactical gear that she was wearing at the end of Black Widow, but she's got a new vest since she gave her old one to Natasha. She's joined by a fellow widow, Sonya, who's not in Black Widow. And the music in these opening moments and really throughout the episode is Lauren Balfe's Black Widow score. Nice. Anna flings a tea plate at Yelena. Yelena does not even flinch as it zips past her face.
My question is, why did Anna throw the plate intentionally at the wall and not at her face? If she felt she was really being threatened in some way. She clearly gets into a fight with them. It didn't make sense to me. It still distracts me. Was it intentional? Because she wouldn't miss the way she'd miss.
No,
she's
not
a
with that
Black Widow.
Yeah, there's got to be some deeper meaning that'll be revealed in like Hawkeye season 4.
When I walked into this reaction, I was expecting Voss to explain to me, not that Yelena didn't flinch, but why Anna is so terrible at plate frisbee. That's what I wanted to know. And yeah. Just gotta say, I'm gonna return these shirts now.
Jeez, Voss, come on, dropping the ball.
But the antidote is ineffective.
I don't think she was brainwashed.
What, you thought I was some rich pervert's prisoner?
She's referring to Dreykov, who creepily programmed his widows, but also telling us that Anna was totally aware that Dreykov was doing that to the other widows. Of course, this being 2018 should have been a clue to you that this would either be post-snap or snap imminent, confirmed as Yelena goes into the bathroom and finds water running through her disintegrating hands. And it's such an affecting sequence that the directors Barton and Birdie unfold in 60 seconds of unbroken camera movement, recalling the similar chaos of Monica Rambeau's blip return in WandaVision. But they're super clever with the blocking if you look closely. Yelena shuts the door on her way in, but somehow the camera glides in with her without getting bumped by the door. And then on the other side of the blip, the door is now back open, as it would be in a house 5 years later with no one in there. Lucky for Yelena that was the case. But I think they actually VFX'd that door and sold it being there with that shutting door sound effect, all to pull this off as a private moment while still allowing for more fluid camera movement.
You might be right. Holy crap. Hold on a second. Watch the door. Look at the door handle. Look at the doorknob. Right here.
That's the doorknob.
Watch it. Keep watching.
Huh. Is that because she shifted and is now blocking the light that was reflecting off of that, or is that a CGI defect and the doorknob just actually dropped out of
No, look, the shot goes on for a while before she blips, before she puts her hand in the water.
Well, it's in time with her shift, though.
What shift?
Her body is moving. She moves to the left, and then the light. She's got the light above her head here.
No other light is changing, though.
No, but I'm saying she could be, like, obscuring the light from reflecting onto the door handle. Or it's a goof, and some CGI artist should be fired.
I feel like there's no other shadow, so it was weird to me that only the doorknob would be shadowed.
Then let's go with that. I think you're probably right.
Joe. I'm gonna say stuck on this.
Because by doing this all in one take, it plants us inside of Yelena's point of view, showing us how for Snap victims, this was a quick, confusing transition. They didn't even black out or faint. For them, time passed instantaneously, and their world around them shifted. And unlike the characters we saw dust in Infinity War, Yelena doesn't seem to feel it happening. Maybe since she is always living with a sense of unease and physiological detachment. And then even after Yelena completes her own dust transition, from her perspective, the surfaces of the bathroom, the color of the walls, the mirror frame, the light fixtures, all work but on a delay. It's such an interesting way to show the passage of time in this instant, with reality reconfiguring piecemeal, also evoking the way reality warps due to Wanda Maximoff's witchcraft and Venom's transference into the MCU. This all just feels like Reality Stone-based reality manipulation. This in the MCU is what it looks like when characters are transported in and out of reality.
It's a really effective moment. I mean, I think the way they've established the blip is that it can affect you in different cases, like if you're asleep, like Monica Rambeau, if you're someone who has healing abilities, like how Spider-Man, that's why it took him a little bit longer to blip. But then you see other characters who can feel something's going on with them in Infinity War, but then there's others who don't seem aware, like even with Chadwick Boseman, and when before he says bye to HAWKEYE, it doesn't look like he's sensing that something's about to happen to him. It's kind of subjective towards the character, or perhaps just the mood of the effect they want for the filmmaking moment is more likely what I think it's going to be.
It's probably a little bit of each, yeah.
I like how Anna's new daughter plays on a little Schroeder piano beside her husband, and Anna says they adopted, which is a painful reminder that these widow assassins are unable to bear children from forced hysterectomies. Also, maybe this girl could have been an orphan from parents who dusted. If so, that would be a bummer custody battle. I like how Anna remains all about that mercenary life, because despite all the little family cosmetic changes she's made to the home, she still keeps up that mural that depicts a boar hunt, meaning that in her heart, she is still a hunter, as Yelena still feels she must be. Kate Bishop returns to her childhood bedroom, which I gotta say, despite being destroyed along with the rest of that house in 2012, now looks to be fully reassembled and left this way for Kate. Kate now has a Hawkeye poster on her wall, and Eleanor tells her,
"It just means that what you do might look a little different than you dreamed of as a child. And preferably a little less reckless."
I never wanted to be reckless. I just wanted to help you.
I know, hun. Recklessness is the unfortunate side effect.
Just another example of how Eleanor groomed her daughter to expose her to danger. This is not a normal mother-daughter relationship. Similarly, based on lies, is the relationship between Kazi and Maya. Kazi nurses her wounds the same way Eleanor did Kate's. These are the scars from Yelena's widow's bites that latched onto Maya's chest last episode. Kazi, though, only wants Maya to stop pursuing the Ronin to keep his betrayal of her father a secret. Meanwhile, Yelena finds Kate back at her home.
Hi.
She Kate's mac and cheese being Yelena's dinner pick when she was a kid in Black Widow.
I want mac and cheese.
Oh, you want mac and cheese? Okay, well.
But we have to wonder if Yelena ever really intended to heat it up with all that sriracha. She might have just dumped it all on after Kate threw it at her, like some kind of Hot Ones alpha mind games. Whatever you throw at me, I drink it up. Yelena wears a similar yellow and black outfit that she wore in the Black Widow post-credit scene, and once again, she has a number of pins on her lapel. In this scene, you can see a spider, maybe for her Black Widow history, finger guns, maybe a nod to her wrist-based widow bites, and a margarita glass, because the girl drinks.
She's an
And she tells
alcoholic.
I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. I don't have any weapons on me. Okay, I take that back. I don't have any weapons currently in my hands. That's a lie also.
Yeah, Yelena is totally playing games from the moment their interaction begins. She knows that rolling up her sleeves, she's gonna reveal to Kate her widow's bites, and that's because this old friendly chat is really an interrogation in order to threaten Kate and to learn Clint's location. But Yelena takes her time. She says,
Come on, take a fork, eat. Eat, please. My daddy says it's good for you.
of course referring to the big appetite of Alexei Shostakov, who forced her and Natasha to dine with them in order to make peace. And then Yelena tells Kate,
Well, it's my first time in New York, but I do want to see some things. I want to see the Empire State Building, the new and improved Statue of Liberty, Rockefeller Center.
the new and improved Statue of Liberty, of course referring to the remodeled Lady Liberty that we see in Spider-Man No Way Home, with a giant Captain America shield and her green oxidation restored to her original copper color. With the Rogers the Musical billboard in the No Way Home promo clip, Marvel Studios wants to make it clear that these events are in the same city in the same era of MCU history.
See, that's where I actually had some questions, though. It raised some real fucking eyebrows. As you see here in the promo footage for Spider-Man No Way Home, the Statue of Liberty is under construction. I know that Broadway shows, they can run for a very long period of time. They last longer than film playing in a movie theater, so I get that. Whether it be Rogers the Musical billboards around still. It still is. What time frame is this on? Spider-Man No Way Home does take place around the winter time. You can presume that maybe this is intersecting around the same time, but no one's going to see the Statue of Liberty when it's under construction. Like, you can't see it, right? Or am I wrong about that? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. It's the thing, John. I think I'm wrong.
I think you're not wrong.
That's what I wanted to hear, man.
I
And
don't
think
think
that doorknob was fake, just so you know.
I think that doorknob is probably fake, and this conversation proves it. But yeah, I feel like if you were affixing a giant piece to the top of it,
surrounded by
it would
scaffolding.
probably and all the scaffolding. I mean, yeah, like certain things remain open under construction, but I feel like having such a big hazardous piece and also deoxidizing the outside, I feel like they would have to kind of close it for a little while.
You can't have tourists come by.
Yeah, that would be probably pretty dangerous.
They wouldn't unveil their newly designed
Yeah.
statues tourist attraction, like, still got months ahead of us.
It's not remodeling a Ralph's and keeping it open in the meantime. Yeah. You want it to be an event.
She also mentions Rockefeller Center, reminding us that the finale episode will take place at 30 Rock, the Nakatomi Tower, in this die-hard homage. Then Yelena gushes about Christmas.
I love American Christmases. The tree, the presents, the super-powered reindeer, Rudolph. He's so weird.
Reindeer.
Have you ever eaten
Rudolph.
reindeer?
Yeah, again,
Red.
Yelena is playing nice, but to her, remember, Christmas is a dark lie. As we learn in Black Widow, their spy family would stage opening empty Christmas presents for fake family photos and home movies. But for young Yelena, she bought into that lie, and it was real to her. And then Yelena begins to show her cards.
Sometimes you're funny, Kate Bishop.
Do you keep saying my whole name just to point out that you know it?
Yes. I know a lot about you.
Yeah, this interrogation is so well structured. It's a lot like Hans Landa wearing down that
Told
armor
you.
in Inglourious Bastards.
That was the exact reference you made.
We said it's like, you said milk scene. What milk were you what milk scene?
No, that's...
I don't know what milk scene
Oh,
you're
I thought you were
talking about.
sarcastically being like, I told you that I named the scene you named.
What milk scene? This one.
Yeah, that's the milk
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. See, you said it was like a Tarantino
Yeah.
scene. We did it.
We did it,
Eric
guys.
Voss is watching our shit and
Yeah,
taking
he's
credit.
missing details
Yeah.
and picking them up from
We
us.
called it right there in the
Yeah.
moment. Watch our video back. I'm not going to take the time to insert it in here.
The pleasantries lead to the hunter's reputation, and then the hunter having actually done their homework, until finally the hunter just lays it all out.
Are you in New York to talk to Clint? Is that why you're here?
No. I'm here to kill him.
And then Yelena finally arrives.
No,
at the
Mr.
one
Bond, I
question
expect
she
you to
really
die.
only needs to ask Kate.
So? Where is he?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes, after all that lecturing Kate about how we are defined by our actions, not by flashy words like hero or Avenger, Lauren Balfe's Black Widow theme returns here, framing both of these women as soon-to-be deconstructed versions of the heroes that they once worshipped. Meanwhile, Clint does the walk of
nice.
shame that I did after getting Mephisto wrong.
Florence Pugh is so good.
I know.
So great. So great.
Grills lets Clint crash with him.
Missy dropped off the new outfits for you and Kate. You want to see them?
Yeah, Missy is that LARPer leader from past episodes. It sounds like she stitched some new matching suits for Clint and Kate that will get revealed in next week's finale. Meanwhile, Eleanor called the cops on Jack, it seems. These are Detectives Cottle and Rivera. We actually saw Detective Cottle back in episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
A fake actor that Eleanor hired. This guy
Totally
really
didn't
seems to be a
pick that
legit
up.
cop. In the comics, both these characters are LAPD detectives. But as Jack gets cuffed, he says,
I'm telling you, the only Sloan I've ever known was this woman I dated in Palm Beach, and she was an absolute nightmare.
yeah, it's hard to get a read on exactly what's going on here, because it does seem like Jack is putting on some kind of performance. Like this is all set up so that Jack would be taken away the moment Kate walked in through the door. And it seems like it was a show to temporarily stop Kate from pursuing this.
That's what I was thinking. I firmly believe it's an act. Okay, here's where I'm a little bit suspicious, is that I'm like, why would you just bring in Jack Duquesne from the comics, who is such a big part of Hawkeye specifically? Yes, it's obviously not going to borrow the origin story that is linked to Clint Barton, but he's still such a big character. They tease that he's the swordsman. No, there's got to be something more to him, and this seems like another mislead before the finale that this was all some big ploy to throw Clint and Kate off the scent of them, right? But then I'm like, this is also the MCU, which has given us Trevor Slattery, Ralph Boner, a bitch-ass version of Kazi, which some of you guys are defending. Okay, maybe it is just that, and the whole point was to make you go, he's a villain. No, he's not. When I'm like, well, that's the most predictable part of this, is that Eleanor is really a baddie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you could make something interesting out of it if it is truly, okay, Jack and Eleanor are working together on this. That's why Jack is so unfazed, and maybe there's more going on, you know, than just like, you know, Jack's just being slimy.
So Clint visits a Battle in New York memorial that's on the bridge that leads to Grand Central in Pershing Square. This is the exact spot where the 6 of them first teamed up in the iconic circle shot in Avengers. And Clint removes his hearing aid when he talks to Natasha in order to silence the world around him, which is so sweet when you consider all the other times that he silenced everything on the series. Now we know, so that he could be alone with his thoughts about Natasha. And he tells her,
You always had to win, didn't you? And for a stupid orange rock.
Also silenced her in the play of Natasha was on.
One, sacrificing herself to acquire that left Clint 1 second holding Natasha in his hand to the next second holding this stupid orange rock in his hand. He also says,
I've replayed that a million times in my head, hoping for a different outcome.
recalling how Doctor Strange played through over 14 million different outcomes, but only one victorious one that still required the sacrifice of a fellow Avenger. Now, among Kate's trophies and medals in her room is a photo of her and her father Derek hiking, reminding us that there's still a mystery to that guy that we have yet to know. Also a boomerang, which might be why she suggested boomerang arrows to Clint last week. Then on our bulletin board is a magazine page of Clint with the words hero worship, and then on the left a ticket for the Bishop Security holiday party December 24th,
good.
2024.
Wow.
Again,
Good
setting the
detail.
stage for the climax in the finale. Then the tracksuits Ivan and Tomas listen to some holiday jams. This is Run DMC's Christmas and Hollis, and it's another homage to Die Hard when Argyle plays it while driving McClane to Nakatomi Plaza. Tomas runs through some other famous tracksuit wearers in pop culture. Tommy Smith was the Olympic track runner who gave the Black Power salute at the '68 games. He also mentions the Royal Tenenbaums, referring to Ben Stiller and his 2 kids in the Wes Anderson film. And of course, Tony Soprano. Hey, forget about it. And this is me totally rooting into the wordplay here, but they debate whether or not they themselves are Royal Tenenbaums. And in German, Tannenbaum is Christmas tree. And in episode 3, we saw a bunch of Christmas trees getting stuck to these bozos. So not intentional. I just like seeing patterns.
They both have Christmas tree powers.
You don't ever downplay any theory at all. You stay strong on all of them. Out of thousands of theories, everyone seemed to get Kane the Conqueror right. So every theory is plausible, including yours, Mr. Voss. Boss Voss.
Boss Voss. That's how you get to be the boss, is you got to treat every theory with the utmost credence because you never know which one's going to be the one.
Don't ever let a theory of Voss just get tossed.
Nah, it's your loss.
Have we heard of the actress Kate Moss in a while?
I would be cross if she were to retire.
Darren Cross.
Clint calls his wife.
She's got her hands on the watch. She looked into our family.
Clint, we've been so careful, really. I mean, the kids and I are so far away.
If I don't end this tonight, it's just a matter of time before the big guy gets involved.
Jesus. Are you sure?
Yeah, still no firm answers on what exactly that Avengers Rolex is all about. It could be linked with Nick Fury and have a Skrull asset list.
Could bring in the X-Men.
Or it could be the property of Phil Coulson, who did wear Rolexes, as we've seen in past films. And this show could confirm as him still being alive, which would officially canonize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the main MCU, along with these Marvel characters. But ultimately, it does sound like the Bartons are in some kind of government
Except for Danny
program, and that Laura was also part of that life of spycraft, so it is still possible that she could be an ex-Mockingbird, but we'll find out next week.
I somehow feel like there's not going to be a really big payoff to that watch.
I feel like you're probably right. I feel like there are probably a few big threads that aren't going to amount to too much. That's one of them.
I also think the watch belongs to all 4 members of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And then sometimes Dr. Doom gets to have it.
Clint lures Maya to the Fat Man used car lot, the same auto shop where he killed her father, and notice how the camera focuses on that Fat Man part of the sign, another reminder that the tracksuits probably named this front after their boss. Maya and Clint fight. She throws a bullet clip at him. I love that. Each time the sword strikes her prosthetic leg, it makes a nice ping sound. No LARP or folio is necessary. Clint reveals that he was the Ronin who killed her father after he was tipped off by an informant in their ranks that was approved by their boss, aka Uncle, aka Kingpin. And he says that both of them are really weapons being manipulated by bigger power players in the shadows. And as Maya leaves, the neon sign shines used, as she must feel in this moment. Kate calls an Uber for their getaway.
Hey, are you Tabitha?
Yes.
It's unrelated,
Clint
but
could have apologized.
Tabitha was the name of Mr. Harrington's wife who faked her dusting to leave him. One of my favorite random subplots.
Oh, that's right.
So I guess you could see this as a kind of name for MCU women trying to flee under false pretenses. Maya suspects Kazi as that informant who tipped off the Ronin and led to William's death, but she doesn't act on it yet. Maya's gonna kill Kazi! Kate tells Clint.
I spoke to her. She said she's Natasha's sister.
That's my Christmas present.
So while Natasha's past with her spy family was a total secret to pretty much everyone, she did tell Clint about her, which makes sense considering she knew about his secret family. I just like knowing how much these two characters knew about each other and loved each other. And then after they get dropped off, Clint gives Kate an arrow. Remember, Eleanor gave Kate her first bow, and now Clint gives her the arrow. I think that was the one that she used to knock the sword out of Maya's hands in order to save his life, making this a kind of token that their mentor-apprentice relationship is restored.
I gotta say, those are like my favorite moments of the show. Those little subtle touches between Clint and Kate.
Yeah.
It's like watching them walk off like some indie drama and getting off the arrow. Like crime fighters in the streets. Just who don't have like the high classy modes of transportation.
Who gotta walk home feeling battered and bruised. Yeah, who are just sharing this quiet moment together. There's great body language.
Great bodies too.
Great bodies, man.
See
Where's
the
that
ass on
Marvel
Renner?
2022 calendar?
Now, just to be clear, this is not Lot Palace Hotel where Eleanor's charity event was held in episode 1, which was the same location as Kingpin's presidential hotel residence in Daredevil season 3. We don't know what this building is yet, but notice that Yelena looks up at the building and seems to register something about it, meaning this might be the MCU's Fisk Tower. Now, we are still waiting to see who Avengers Tower was sold to. Tom Holland signaled that he knew who, but I have not yet seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet, so I cannot confirm anything about that.
It's mostly about that.
I may actually be in the movie theater watching it. So we'll know soon. But Yelena texts Kate that she knows who hired her to kill Clint, and that was Eleanor Bishop, confirming that Val must work for Eleanor, and that Eleanor's partner in crime all this time has been...
Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. Kingpin.
Boom! are you looking for Fisk? Yes, that sure is Vincent D'Onofrio wearing a white jacket and sporting a cane. The episode's credits credit Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
All right, I guess at some point, Coy, John, and I were talking to each other, looking, and then the name came on screen, and then we spent the whole credits discussing how his name didn't come on screen.
Really showed up twice.
Many of you guys went way out of your way to tell us in the comments, and then also to hit me up on social media. Some of you tracked down my home, knocked on my door. What are you guys?
Keep it down out there.
We already know.
We get it.
Thank you. There was no need to set my car on fire and then put in fireworks like Batman that Vincent D'Onofrio's name is in the credits
here.
Who also tweeted confirmation quoting his "when I was a boy" line from the Netflix Daredevil series. As we suspected, based on the many clues, the laugh, the cufflinks.
You celebs gotta stop spoiling shit.
Kingpin Wilson Fisk. Kingpin is, of course, the recurring Marvel villain to Spider-Man to Daredevil to many New York-based characters. And really, there is no limit to what upcoming MCU titles he could now appear in. Most likely Echo, but perhaps also Armor Wars or Secret Invasion. I'm seeing No Way Home soon, so who knows, maybe there too. Kevin Feige also confirmed Charlie Cox's Daredevil would be joining the MCU from the Netflix side of the universe as well. In the past, the Netflix shows would occasionally reference the MCU in the Battle of New York, but until now, the official MCU titles never once referenced the Netflix world or characters. I'm not sure if D'Onofrio Kingpin's arrival means every Netflix Marvel character is automatically MCU canon, since I doubt Disney Plus would want to tell all their viewers to spend hours and hours catching up on seasons of storylines on their rival Netflix, even though you totally should because those shows are pretty great. Rather, we may be looking at a kind of soft reboot in which these versions of Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock are really variants in this universe, the MCU, separate from the characters we were left with at the end of Daredevil Season 3 on Netflix. They're still essentially the same characters with the same relationships, just with a slightly altered history that, in this case, ties Kingpin to the tracksuits back in 2007 and gives him some history with Ronin and Clint during the blip. I go into all this in another video, you should check it out.
I feel like I would like that.
I feel like part of the big excitement is to bring in,
to keep it canon
is
and
to have the context.
The reason why we're excited is the brilliance of the context there, not just the casting alone.
The revelation that this was all happening while all the other MCU stuff was happening. Hey, and
like
now we'll finally see them collide.
To that effect, like when I was rewatching the Spider-Man movies, and to be like, oh wow, these events with Doc Ock from 2004 are now canon. Like the Doc Ock is now canon to the MCU, you know, like Alfred Molina. That's what makes it exciting. They didn't go, these are just variants.
We cast the same actors to play different characters for the same name and likeness.
But then the credits go into Thurl Ravenscroft's classic, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch," which is perfect for a lonely jerk who glares down at us from his tower. It's also the kind of winky villain theme that recalls the tone of "It's been Agatha all along." But it also indicates that there may yet be a heart in there. 2 sizes too small, buried under all that bulk. A heart that belongs to Vanessa.
Embarrassed me in front of her.
Yeah.
The final shot of the credit sequence now
boss.
includes the massive silhouette of Kingpin looming over Clint and Kate in the city, casting him as the literal big bad that towers over the MCU now. This is the same kind of image Loki lives with.
That is awesome.
With the Celestials, or even just a shape in the sky, always there, always watching like the Watcher. Somehow, of all of these characters, Kingpin has me the most terrified. To support our channel, check out one of our great merch options at NewRockstarsMerch.com.
Dibs.
God,
you gotta call dibs faster.
You got that one. You got the new Spider-Man one.
Always watching Kingpin.
I'm just gonna buy the variant colors of everything you should get and wear them on different days.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Follow new Rockstars. That's all that matters. Keep a lookout for our finale to Hawkeye episode 6.
Epic Hero Shop. Yeah. Get some swag.
All right. Let's go. Let's go.
Go Spider-Man.